Hello everybody, my name is Benny and welcome to The Fool's Apprentice. So, I'm trying to catch my breath a little bit because I was trying to do a thumbnail with Precious and Otis. As you probably saw, I don't know how good it's going to turn out because getting two dogs on this little chair with my little body was a job. But today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. You know, I've mentioned Precious and Otis several times throughout my videos. And I thought today would be a really good day to tell you about our love story. So that's what I plan to do, is just give you a bit of history on how we found each other and how we've come to build a little family together. So, without any further ado, let me get Precious. Come here, Precious. Come here. Oh, watch her not want to come now. Precious, come here. Let's go. Precious, who wants a treat? Oh my God, I have to bribe her. Are you gonna want? Oh, there she comes. Come here. Come here, little girl. What are you doing? Okay, let me pick you up. Oh my God, she wants to lay down. Come on, hurry up. Come on. Come here. Come on. All right. All right. Hold on. Hold on. Oh my God. So this is Precious. Oh my God, my little girl. So Precious is a terrier mix. She is approximately 14 years old. She's an old girl. I got her when she was 1 year old. And how that happened, I know, I love you so much. And how that happened, oh, are you cold? Are you cold, huh? Oh, how that happened was, I ended up in I had a really bad accident. And I'm going to put her down. Because she's a little cold, she's shivering. Either that or she's nervous. And I don't want to make her give her anxiety. So what happened was I ended up in a really bad accident. Not a car crash or anything like that, but it was a pretty severe accident. And I ended up in the hospital for 6 weeks. Don't want to go into the details of anything. It's just giving you some backstory on how Precious got into my life. I ended up in the hospital for 6 weeks. Had to go do physical rehab for another 4 weeks. I should have stayed longer, but I was not a very good patient. And I ended up having to move in with my mom. So needless to say, I wasn't feeling pretty great about my life and myself. So I was pretty down. And the recovery was extremely challenging. It felt unsurmountable at times. And I'd been wanting a dog for several years. I just wasn't in a place where I felt I could take care of a dog the way she or he needed to be. So I'm laying there in my mother's spare room, feeling all sorry for myself. It was pretty sad. And the thought came, maybe if I adopt a dog, I'll get up and I'll start acting, I'll start working out by walking and stuff. And I didn't know if that was going to work or not, so I had to really think about it. I wasn't getting up. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't trying to get stronger, nothing. I was just in that bed, thinking, poor is me. So I talked to my mom about it, and she said, sure, let's go. So we went to the pound, and I wanted a little dog, like maybe that big. And to be honest, the main reason I wanted a little dog is because dogs poop, and then you got to pick it up. So I thought, the smaller, the better. So there I go, dragging myself to 151, and I had lost all this weight. I had no confidence in myself. Wouldn't make eye contact with people. And so we get there, and we start walking around. They had like 4 or 5 huge buildings full of dogs. So I'm looking for these little dogs, and I can't find a damn little dog anywhere I go. And there's nobody in sight to help me, of course. So I'm in my third building, and I go down a couple of cages, and to my left there's this dog, this yellow and white dog with its back towards the door, and I was like, wow, that's really odd. And so I just stood there looking at her because I just became really curious as to why this dog was sitting like that. And all of a sudden, oh my God, let me tell you guys, she slowly turned her head, really sad, and then looked up at me, and her eyes just bore into the back of my mind. And the first words out of my mouth were, "What a precious looking dog." And I went, "Oh no, not doing it." So I walked away. I got about 5 cages down, and I could see her eyes in the back of my head as if they were just right in front of me. And I'm like, oh my God. So I stop in my tracks, and I'm like, what am I doing? I can't. It's too big. So I look ahead, and my mother's not around. There's nobody around. And so I said, well, let's see. So I turn around, and I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I walked around. The cage was to my left. I turned towards the cage. I planted my left foot, and this guy came around and said, would you like to see her? And I looked at him like, where have you been? And then I looked at her, and I was like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Oh, yes, I would. So they got a leash, and they have an area where you can walk the dogs. And guys, she was so sad. Just thinking about it now makes me want to cry. She was just the saddest dog I'd ever seen in my entire life. Her shoulders were down. She had no energy. She walked really slow. She had her head down as we walked outside, and she wouldn't shake her tail. So I'm out there with her. And I don't know, just something happened in me, and I just fell for her. And I wanted to take care of her, and I wanted to love her, and I wanted to treat her like nobody probably has treated her before. And I don't know, I just knew that I had to take her home. So I found my mom, and she had a dog too, a little Chihuahua. And the thing is that they have to be able to get along for me to bring her home. So we brought the Chihuahua over, and she didn't really react to the Chihuahua very much, but she started wagging her tail a little bit, and the little Chihuahua was really happy with her. So I said, okay, let's do it. So here I am with this huge dog. I had no plans of adopting. And I took her home. I had to fill out the paperwork, and in the paperwork they said, well, we need a name. And I'm like, I don't even know her. What do you mean you need a name? They're like, sir, we need a name so you could take her home. I'm like, but I don't even know her. They're like, just give us a name. And I remembered in that moment that I had said, what a precious looking dog. So I said, her name is Precious. And oh my God, I'm just getting so emotional. So that's her name. Her name is Precious, and she's been the most wonderful dog in the world. She is my best friend. She's my best friend. She loves me so much, and I love her. She is just like the rock that I needed to hold on to get going. And so what would happen is I would get up, and let me tell you guys, I was so weak. I was tired all the time. I had lost all this weight, all this muscle mass. You know, I didn't feel my best. I was feeling really down still. And just because I got her didn't just make everything okay, because it didn't. But, you know, I had really fallen for her. And so what I would do is I would take my fragile little body, and I would sit up and get my energy. And oh my God, the energy that it took for me to just do anything. Like, let me tell you, the trip to the pound and back, I was exhausted. And so I would get up, and I would get her food, and I'd get her water, and I would put it at the foot of my bed, and I would just sit there and I'd watch her. And I don't know, maybe 2, 3 weeks later, I just remember sitting over her, watching her eat, and I heard myself say, I love you so much. I promise I'm going to take care of you for the rest of my life. I'm going to take care of you for as long as you live. And I've done a really good job. I've done a really good job. I never thought I would be um, a good dog owner. Like, I take her to the vet, she gets her shots. She's gotten injured. She had a really horrible injury like a year ago, and it was expensive. And fortunately, I had savings, and it was like when he told me the price, I was like, whoa, okay, well, let's get it done. Let's get it done. And because the quality of her life would have gone down if I didn't do it. She would have died, but the quality of her life would have gone down significantly. So I got it done. And you know, when I come in, she is so happy to see me. I'm very happy to see her. And I will tell you guys, in the last year, ever since she injured herself, I've become very, very aware of her age. She has a hard time jumping on the bed, jumping on the couch. I have to lift her. Sometimes she gets halfway up. Um, I know I don't have her for a lot longer, and so I try to spend as much time with her. Uh, I've done this all the time, but you know, I'll walk in, she jumps on the couch, and I pet her for 5 minutes, and I hug her, and I tell her I love her. And my patience with her has grown immensely. Whenever she wants a treat, she gets it. I don't care. She gets her treats whenever she wants them. She'll come to the bed and she'll cuddle with me. And oh, let me tell you what she loves to do. She doesn't do it very often, but when she does, I love it. She'll I'm laying in bed, and she'll come around and she'll lay on the pillow across, and so her belly's on the top of my head. I love it when she does that, and she'll just sleep there until I fall asleep. And then when I wake up, she's not there anymore. She knows when I'm not doing well, and she'll come lay with me, and she doesn't even expect to be touched. She'll just be right next to me. So my life has been enriched because of having her in my life. And so I ended up working I changed jobs like 5, 6 years ago, and I was doing 12-hour shifts, which meant she was all by herself for that long, and it's a long time to be by yourself. And so I ended up deciding that, you know, Steve said maybe we should get her a friend. And I said, great idea. I've never had 2 dogs, but okay, let's go. So we went to the pound again, and we walked in, different pound, walked in, and immediately they had these 4 little cages near the back. And so that's where we went first, and there was this little red fluffy dog, and it was cute. Didn't say anything to me, but Steve caught Steve's eye, and he's like, oh, can we walk her? And I'm like, well, if you want to. I wasn't making any decisions early on. And so we took her out, we walked her, and he was really good on the leash. Very, very happy dog, wagging his tail. Steve and him, like, really bonded. I stood in the corner like this, looking at, I don't know. I think we can find a better dog. We'll see. Because you know what? I'm the kind of guy that's always looking for the next best thing. Unfortunately, it's a character defect that I have. But Steve really liked the dog, and I said, well, let's look around a little bit, and if we don't find another dog, we'll come back and we'll see. I wasn't committing, but we'll see. So we're walking back to put the little dog in the cage, and I'm talking to Steve, and I look over because he's not answering me, and he's not there. And I'm like, what? So I turn around, and he's talking to this older couple with Otis, and I see him putting Otis in front of them. And I'm like, Steve, come here right now. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I want to see if they want to adopt them. I'm like, but I thought you wanted the dog. He's like, I do, but I don't want him to go back into the cage. I'm like, oh my God, this dude, he's going to kill me. So I had to make a snap decision. And really, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, do you really like this dog this much? Enough to take him home right now? He's like, yes, I want to take him home. And I'm like, okay. Let's take him home. And I think we were there maybe 15, 20 minutes when we took this guy home. So let me, and of course, this guy is Otis. Come here, Otis. And this is Otis. This is our little baby. Otis will stay here longer because he doesn't mind. Right, Otis? You don't mind. So, Otis, look at that, Otis. Say hi. He knows where the camera's at. Look, he knows. He won't look at the camera. Oh, my little boy. Yes, you're my little boy. Okay, so so we wanted to have a playmate for Otis. We wanted to have a playmate for Otis, so Precious came home. Now, Otis was not the name that I wanted to give him. Okay, let's get you down, little boy. Otis was not the name that I wanted for this dog. But Steve decided that he wanted the dog, so Steve got the opportunity to name the dog. He was going to allow me to name the dog. His original name, I can't believe I still remember this, was Butch. And I'm like, that is not a Butch dog. So we got to get a new name. Excuse me, I need something to drink. There were two names. Both of the names were like Southern names, and Otis kind of stuck. And I was like, Otis, but I'm like, okay, that's the what name he wants to give it. Let's just keep it as Otis. And I love the name. And Otis, unfortunately, doesn't like to play with other dogs. So Precious wants to play, and he will find the highest point that he can, and then he'll growl there. Basically telling Precious, leave me alone. I don't want to play. I don't like you. Stay away. But watching them together cracks me up. They're like the odd couple. If you're my age, you probably, it's a TV show from the day. Just so very different. And they clash, but it works. And they just crack me up. And Otis, let me tell you, Otis is excited about everything and everyone that comes in. I can't walk anywhere around the house without him being there right next to me. He sleeps with me. He likes to be right next to me. He loves Steve dearly, but he has, as time has gone on, I'd say in the last couple of years, he's gravitated to me a bit more than Steve compared to what he used to. But I will tell you, he's about 8, maybe 9 years old. And I got him when he was 4, or we got him when he was 4. And again, one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. We have a very different relationship than the relationship me and Precious have. Precious is like, I don't know, like, how do I explain them? Precious is like my soulmate, like we've known each other for lifetimes. She's the one that I go to when I need some consoling. She's the one that I go to where I need to be loved and held and comforted. Otis, on the other hand, is like my wacky, crazy friend who's calling me out of nowhere, telling me he's outside and he wants us to go do something. And we go and we get into some shenanigans that we shouldn't have gotten into to begin with. But I find myself laughing through the whole thing. I mean, they really feed me in 2 different ways, and I'm so blessed to have them both. So, what do? I just love them. We have a routine. In the mornings, I get up, take them to potty. They come in, they get a treat, a really nice treat. Precious gets her meds. And then Otis follows me around until I gotta go. I come back for lunch. I actually live close enough to come back for lunch. I give him a little treat. I have my lunch. Otis sits next to me. Precious just sits over there scoping me out, waiting for a nibble to fall on the ground. I come home after work and they jump on the couch and I pet them for 5 minutes. I tell them I love them. I hug them. We play. I go change and then we do our evening together. So that's my life with my little dogs. And they don't mess with my cards back here. Never gotten into anything that I don't want them to get into. They're the greatest dogs. All right, I know this was very off topic, but I figured since I talk about them all the time in one way or another, I thought you want to meet them. All right, until next time, I am Benny, and I am the Fool's Apprentice. Bye.